Welcome in. I'm Amanda. You will never get enough of what you don't really need. That quote, I don't remember where I found it, but that really affected me because at the time I had a few addictions that I needed to part with, but I didn't have the logic. I was still using the rationalization brain of like, no, you need this. This is helping you. That part of myself where I wasn't being honest with myself. So that quote, you can never have enough of what you don't really need, it just woke me up to what are the things that I just feel I can't live without. Like truly, not in a rationalizing way of like, oh, this is part of my daily practice to have this addiction. But what is the thing that I would really freak out if I didn't have, that causes a bit of a frenzy if I don't have? And that, if I cannot have enough of it, I don't really need it. So now we're looking at the concept of attachment. And with attachment, it's really difficult to quantum leap. It's really difficult to move on past situations that no longer serve you. It's really difficult to release trapped trauma in the body because the trauma becomes like part of who we are. The person becomes like part of our story about ourselves. The thing that we are addicted to is just part of our identity. It's just part of how we live. It's part of what's keeping us in the reality that no longer fits the one we've already created, that's already here. We echo out what we're creating and it gets created. But if we are still doing the same things that we don't really need, it keeps us from passing through the gateway of death into new life. And that is what we do in meditation, is we die on purpose. We die to those attachments. We die to what we think we need because we know that we don't. We think we need air. We don't. I mean, we do if we want to fuel our bodies, but we're eternal souls. We are the Atman or the Ka. Our fire never goes out. So we need nothing. And it takes meditation to die to what we think we do need. So that on the outside of our meditation, we remember our strength, our value, our non-attachment. And that creates space to receive what you do deserve. Not need, but deserve. Words matter. So does the intent behind them. So let us meditate together so that you know what it feels like to not be attached. As you can see, my sits bones, as I like to call them, the suitcase pegs that are under our meat of our bum, we can find them by rocking back and forth, and that will show us where our rocking back and forth will show us where our sits bones are, and they're perfectly shaped little suitcase pegs that will help us find a nice base for our spine to grow from. So if we're too far forward on our crotch or too far back on our tailbone, we're not on our sits bones and our spine will be not erect. And we want it erect so that that energy can flow up the Shishamna, that Kundalini, that source connection, your beautiful light body. If you do not feel comfortable sitting cross-legged, you can put both feet flat on the floor. I do not recommend lying down because you'll probably fall asleep. If you're finding meditation, it's probably because your body is out of balance in some way or your mind is overworking, so Rest in addition to meditation is very important. But if you need sleep, sleep first. Make sure that your sleep is sacred to you so that when you do meditate, you can experience the feeling of your own liberation. Because that's really what we're doing in meditation. We're not sitting to accomplish a goal. We're resting in our existence. We're resting in our beauty. We're resting in our peace. And like we mentioned earlier, we're resting in our death to all of the attachments, all of them. However, we will keep one string of focus because that will allow us to align the brain waves and allow our bodies to settle. So this is what I taught in the Dharana method, and Dharana is one of the Yoga Sutras of Patanjali, one of the 8 limbs of yoga that leads to union with the soul. And dharana is a single point of focus. The steps after that are dhyana and samadhi. And dhyana is like a state of flow. Samadhi is that existential bliss, that universal loving awareness, that nirvana. So dharana, it was apparent to me that that was a crucial part of any meditation because I wanted to feel the flow and the nirvana. So a single point of focus I have always used is a mantra. You can also use your breath. You can also use a sound like a gong or a tone like a bell, a gentle, repetitive tone. Not like music because that will be a different experience. What we want to do is utilize that point of focus simply to start harmonizing the brain waves. So even just repeating Om, it's been studied that that takes one's brain waves from scattered to smooth. And that is my way of explaining it because I'm a sensor feeler. So as we sit nice and tall, you'll feel your shoulders relax. And my ribs kind of splay forward and out. So I tuck my front 2 ribs under because I want my ribs stacked over my hips. And I want a Buddha belly. Just so when I breathe in, there's a lot of space. And I just feel the breath creating even more space. And it may run into places where there's not a lot of space. Just have that breath be your agent, like clearing the way, maybe pulling stuff up for your attention, whether it's colors, sounds, messages. So my breath just found some energy in my body, which is why I exhaled deeply. This is your experience. I'm simply giving you suggestions. But always do what feels good to you. Feel how much space was created just by taking the breath inside. If this has not calmed your mind, this is when I bring in a mantra. And mantra is a Sanskrit word that encapsulates a phrase or a word that you say that will give you the vibration instead of the literal meaning. So the Sanskrit language is vibrational in nature. In the Indus River Valley, it was pre-India. It was one of the most ancient systems of wisdom that we have that gave us Ayurveda, Vedanta, and from there Buddhism sprang, Jainism, Sufism, Taoism, from there and there. But Sanskrit came from the rishis meditating and feeling the universe. And they came up with a language, a vibrational language that encapsulates the frequency of the thing that they are meaning. So Om, O-M, or A-U-M. I like A-U-M. Om, Om. The Egyptians had mantras as well, and Ah. Is root chakra. So and Ao is creation. So um, um. So you can do it that way, or om. You can tell the difference between the is more like pulling the energy through your being, whereas om is like definitely for the brain. So you can see why the studies showed that it harmonized the brain waves. Om, 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 om. Notice how just saying those mantras or om changes the air around you. It can do that inside you as well. But before we introduce the mantra, I like to begin my meditations, yes, with the breath. I always enter my meditation after some sort of stretching, just because I tend to get really stiff and uncomfortable if I don't. So if you haven't done that yet, you can pause the video and do some stretches, side to side, roll the shoulders, some twists, some cat-cows. But then we do the breath exploration, and then I introduce some questions because I want to hear what's on my heart. So I can ask my heart, what are you feeling right now? And just listen. No judgment, just observation. Sometimes feelings just need to be acknowledged and named to be released. And then you can ask your heart, is there something you'd like to tell me? Something you'd like me to know? And it can be anything, just listen. Then I ask, is there anything you'd like to hear or anything you'd like me to say? Or anything you need? And then the last question is, what are we creating? Because in my school of thought, we create from the heart. We create and manifest aligned desires to the heart. So what are we creating? And it can be anything that you hear, or nothing, that's okay too, but just listen. Oh, I was just inspired to add another question, because what are we creating is like, what are we actually manifesting right now? It can mean that. And I just heard something that I don't really want to be creating right now. So now I'm going to add another question of, what do we desire? What do we desire to receive? What do we desire to receive? And that's what we'll create. And if you got into your mind on that one, like I did, you can go back to your heart. What do I desire to receive? What is my aligned desire? It's my next aligned desire, even. And then from here, you can continue noticing the breath as your dharana, your point of focus, or you can introduce repeating in your mind your mantra. I can give you your personal custom Sanskrit mantra. I will link that. Or you can just say Om. Or you can say Soham. That is Sanskrit for I am. And just repeat it in your mind like you're listening to it. And what this will do, this will take you to your harmonization of the brain waves. It will have thoughts scrambled and come up to be observed and released. It will just harmonize and allow you to experience your own limitless self. So repeating the mantra in your mind like you're listening to it, or observing the breath, feeling it as it goes in through the nose, into your body, and out through the nose. And for the next 10 minutes, we're just going to focus on that. I will mind the time, and I will assist you in your focus. I will hold the space. Enjoy. Repeating the mantra or watching the breath, feeling it, or mind the time. If you hear any noises or have to shuffle around, just go ahead and just return to the mantra or the breath. It's not about getting anywhere, it's just about coming back again and again. Not about being anyone or doing anything. It's just about being and enjoying your own beauty, your own energy. Giving your heart space to breathe, to be heard, your body space to talk and rest. In our last few minutes, you can go ahead and release the mantra and observe how you feel. Eyes still closed. And I invite you to imagine a hole at the top of your head like a dolphin. And you already have a hole below, not to be crude, but you have this channel. And I invite you to inhale white light and love from above into your crown and send it all the way down out your other end and have it loop behind you back up to source, and then do that again. Inhale white light through that hole in the top of your head like a dolphin, but inhale all the way down your spine, out the other end, and now have it loop around the front of you, that white light, and go up to source. And then inhale again, white light, from source, down through your spine, exhale out the other end, and now to the side of you, right side or left side, have it loop up back to source. And then again, inhale the white light down into your dolphin hole, and exhale out the other end, and on your left or right side, the opposite side, have it loop around back to source. So as you inhale now through that hole in the top of your head and exhale out the other end, take it down into Mother Earth, her ascended heart, her high heart. And then breathe it in to your own heart and stay in your own heart, surrounded on all sides by light and love, connected to heaven and earth. You are the heavenly gate, your heart, and your heart is so full of this love and light energy. Now you may ask it again. What do you feel right now? And ask it again. Is there anything you'd like to tell me? And ask it again, what are we creating? And then lastly, what do we desire to create? What are we receiving? What are we receiving next? Just like me, this is not a perfect video or perfect template to meditation, but wabi sabi is my ultimate mantra. There's beauty in imperfection. You are perfect just the way you are, perfectly imperfect. And here you can set your own intention, whether that's a whole list of them or whether it's just joyful, healthy body, restfully alert mind, loving, compassionate heart, lightness of being. Anything you speak here is more potent. And then you can slowly start moving your fingers and toes and gently bring your eyes to a soft gaze. And placing one hand on your belly and one hand on your heart, take 3 deep breaths. Aware of the light being that you are, surrounded by light, connected to light, and the love radiating through you and around you into the whole field of energy centered in the heart, creating with love and alignment, receiving what you love, what feels good, what is aligned for you. Thank you so much for taking your time to be. That is your right. A couple rights in there. The time is yours. You are a being, not a doing. And your presence is your power. I love you. I see you. I honor you. And if you'd like more mentorship or to connect, please see below or my links, my information, and I hope we connect on Instagram. Amandha Is Love. Till your next meditation, may you be free from all of your attachments so that what you choose is what you really desire.